Slavant. I'm a 10-year veteran in the Louisiana Army National Guard from Monroe, Louisiana. I'm running for the U.S. Congress. What you need to know about me is I'm just like you. I work, I run a business, I pay bills just like y'all. But politicians make promises every election. And as I saw that, I just got real tired of it because it's the same old issues, the same every election after every election. Politicians, it's the same old business as usual. We need to change the environment in Washington at this critical point. We want representatives who will be vocal for District 5, whether it's the oil spill, immigration, laws that violate the Constitution, federal government attempt to control our local waterways. We don't want politicians whose philosophy is don't rock the boat. We want to get back to basics. The Bill of Rights says powers that are not granted to the Congress and the Constitution belong to the states and to the people. When the Constitution is followed, the states' rights are protected, which means government that is close to the people. When the Constitution is upheld, we defend individual rights given to us by God. We have a choice. We have a choice. We have to decide. Are we going to vote for the same politicians over and over? Or will we vote for a citizen that will represent our will in Washington? What will I do? I will shrink the government. That's what I want to support. Defend the Constitution, rein in the spending, support disciplined lawmaking, push back against harmful legislation and individual freedoms. This is the time for common sense, and that's the solution. When the people of District 5 are concerned with an issue in Congress, I will speak up and speak out. When legislation from others affects the people of District 5, I will speak up and speak out. When a bill or parts of a bill erodes the Constitution or individual freedoms, I will speak up and speak out. When I need to make a decision, the first question I will ask is this the powers granted to Congress by the Constitution? Is this good for the people of the 5th District? I'm not perfect, but I know one thing for sure. The loss of God in public life hurts our country. The loss of God in public life hurts our country and our people. Just the same as when our lawmakers apply the Constitution with no reference to God-given freedom. The founders spoke of God-given freedoms, and the founders warned against the temptations that might lure future generations to abandon their freedoms and their rights by subjecting themselves to strong federal government. The warning against the welfare state, in which people will be taken care of from cradle to grave, was a great concern. There was another warning against taxation for the purpose of confiscating wealth and against deficit spending. Jefferson said it is immoral for one generation to pass the results of its extravagances to the next generation. And that's what's happening right now. You see what's going on in our country. Accountability is more important than ever. We have to hold each other accountable. We all know that you don't get something for nothing. Folks in government try to sell us on the idea that hey, we'll give you something and somebody else will pay for it. It's not for nothing. And it's cost every one of us. It costs you something when your representative in Congress is keeping quiet to make sure nothing interferes with this earmark or appropriations. It costs you when amendments to bad bills get an okay because there's money is attached to them. It costs us when our politicians don't challenge legislation that weakens or even defies the Constitution. It's time to step up and step in. I refuse to be known as the generation that allowed our Constitution to be trampled and discarded as an archaic document. If we're not happy with the turn of our country has taken, the best way, the only way to set things right is to hold government accountable to the Constitution. When we restore and preserve the Constitution, and that means all of it, we can restore the greatness God gave this country to us. This Bill of Rights, the 9th Amendment, tells us that our founders set out to clarify so that language they use would not be twisted in any way to limit the rights of the people. The idea that the rights of the people are not measurable has been referred to as the intent of the 9th Amendment. The government power is limited in Amendment 10. The 10th Amendment, the last amendment in our Bill of Rights, tells us if the Constitution does not give a power to the federal government, then is left to the states and to the people. The powers detailed in Article 1, Section 8 are all Congress gets. The rest belong to the states and the people. These amendments, the Bill of Rights, were written because many of the founders were concerned about the potential of the federal government to expand its powers, which is happening right now. Christians must appreciate the fact that freedom is a gift from God and not from the federal government. If more people remember this, we wouldn't be facing what some have called the depths of freedom and morality, that we can do something about this. As citizens, especially Christian citizens, all of us must engage, encourage, and value of the Constitution and the God-given freedom it protects. If we refuse to engage in the battle for the mind and the heart, we stand to lose all. Author Tim LaHaye says, "Success requires us to be men and women of vision and courage, or we will be men and women of compromise, neutrality, and defeat." Do you really think a career politician can do the job? Can we afford to leave the current career politicians in office who are either too timid or unwilling to make the hard decisions that will put our country back on the right track? We need people out of the community who are not part of the current political system to go to Washington. Folks like me and you need to defend and restore the Constitution. Thank you, guys.